Do you have a business that serves your local community? Are you trying to take your business to the next level? Do you struggle to understand your business numbers? Well, stop working harder thinking you're going to make more money. That's not how it works. Each week, we go over how to understand and leverage your business numbers to not only create more sales, but more importantly, how to create more profits. Remember, it isn't about how much you sell. It's about how much you keep at the end of the day. My name is Tammy, and I'm on a mission to help badass business owners like yourself put more money in your pocket. So whether you're a badass or a badass in the making, let's get this party started. Hey, badass business owners. Welcome back to the show. It is time for us to talk about our next topic from the eMyth Revisited. And today I want to talk about what you can learn from McDonald's. And that is to keep it simple and keep it replicable. That was a hard word. I thought I was going to mess it up. So let's dive in a little bit into the next section. If you're new to the podcast, what we're doing right now is we are having a multi-episode where we're diving into the eMyth Revisited, the number one recommended book for small business owners. And we're taking some of the concepts out and we're kind of diving into them to try to make them a little bit more to where they resonate with you a little bit more and kind of see how you could use it in your particular business. And one of the main reasons is because I really do believe the eMyth is a book that can really be a game changer in your business, especially if you've been in business for a few years. It's one of those books that you want to read every year. And part of the reason you want to read it every year is every time you go through it, you're going to pull out something new, something different, have a different aha moment because you're going to be at a different place in your business. If you think about it, every 6 months to a year, you kind of move the business into a next level. So a different piece of the book is going to resonate with you. I also recommend that you don't read all the way through, that you just read, a chapter a day or half a chapter a day, because it's really going to let those concepts sink in. And this is, I believe, our fifth episode. And what we want to talk about is we want to talk about McDonald's. He uses McDonald's a lot in the book because McDonald's is a great example of the concept of where you want to get your business. Because at the end of the day, we all want to have a business, not a job. And unfortunately, the majority of you have created a job for yourself. So the question becomes, how do you create a business that you personally don't have to be in all the time? So this way that you can create a business that you run and you're able to still have the time that you want. You can pick and choose how much time you work in the business. And if you want to work, 10 hours a week, 20 hours a week, 40 hours a week, it's very different than 60, 70, 80 hours a week that you currently are working in your business. Because at the end of the day, right, we want to have a business, not a job. Now, the other thing you want to do in order to do that is you basically need to create a business that anybody can run it. And that's kind of where he tries to take you, is how do you create a business? So it's not so much about the franchising that McDonald's did, where they created store after store after store. For some of you, you may want to create that kind of business model, not so much store to store, but maybe crew to crew to crew, and you want all your crews to be consistent. This works for you, but it also works for single operators. It also works for people with 1 or 2 employees, because it's all about how do you get this business down to where it just runs itself. And this is where you hear about turnkey. You've probably heard turnkey operation, turnkey store. It's basically where a business is completely set out of the box. You take it out of the box, you take the key, you open the door, and you're ready for business. That's what you're trying to get your business to, is how do you make your business a turnkey operation? That's the best way to look at it. Now, to kind of use this whole McDonald's analogy and what you can learn from it, you kind of have to understand a little bit about McDonald's. Some of you guys have heard parts and bits and pieces of the McDonald's story. We've all grown up with McDonald's. And one of the things that we love about McDonald's, whether you hate McDonald's or you love McDonald's, the one thing you know for sure about McDonald's is you get the exact same thing from location to location. If you pick up the state you live in and you go to 3 states over and you come up to a McDonald's, you pretty much know that when you go inside those doors, it's going to be the same McDonald's experience for the most part that you just had. And that's, McDonald's has almost 39,000 locations. And no matter where you go, McDonald's and Ray Kroc has created a business that is going to be the same pretty much no matter where you go. And he was one of the first to do this, because now, you can go to like a Subway or any of your fast food places or any of your other franchises and go from store to store, and you're going to have that same experience. That's what we expect from a franchise. So McDonald's, when he did it, McDonald's was actually owned by the McDonald's brothers. That's what it was named from. They were two brothers that had the store, and Ray was doing some work from them, and he fell in love with their business model. It wasn't that he fell in love with the hamburgers, the fries, the shakes, or any of that stuff. He fell in love with the systems and the processes. And when looking at it, he had an aha moment, because he realized that if he could duplicate what it is that they did, he saw dollar signs. He saw the fact that he could scale this business so much, and McDonald's, as we know it today, was actually born because he actually bought the business from them, because he knew that if he could create this business, that he could grow it into thousands of stores. Did he see 39,000 stores? I don't know. He may have, but he did know that he could grow it. The one thing that he really focused on is if you think about your business, it's chaos, right? There's always something going on, things pulling you in different directions. Some of you have more chaos than others. And his whole thing was, how do you make sense out of the chaos? And the way you make sense out of the chaos in your business is by creating systems that anybody can hop into and they can follow it. All right. You've heard me talk about in the past using checklists. You've heard me talk about, operation manuals, stuff like that. You basically make it to where everybody knows exactly what is to be done. And that's what Ray Kroc did. He made it that he told them all the way down to where the pickles go on the bun, how it goes. They have time frames on how long something can be in the heater. They have times how long the fries can sit before something happens. Every question you could possibly have running McDonald's or working at McDonald's is answered for you in one way, shape, or form. So they're constantly updating that, changing it. It's not that you take out innovation, but you take out the fact that people don't go start changing something that works. It works. So you want to use it. And that's what you want to do for your business, is find out what works and then create the systems around that. All right. The other thing that he did is he didn't think of McDonald's as the hamburgers or the fries. What he thought about when he thought about McDonald's is the product was the business. Okay. The business was his product. So when he thought about what product he sold, what he sold was these McDonald's boxes that people would buy, and like I said, love or hate it, it's the same way no matter where you go across all of the stores. So I want you to start thinking about your business as not so much about what it is that you do, but what your business is the actual business itself. What is the product that you sell? What is your business? And what makes it stand out from other people, as opposed to what it is you do within it. Of course, you're going to have think about it. Of course, you're going to have great customer service. Of course, you're going to have quality products. That's something every single person should be striving for. But what's going to make your business stand out above everybody else? And it's going to be that consistency, that from customer to customer, they get the exact same experience no matter what. So whether it's you showing up or any of your people showing up, they get the exact same experience. They get the exact same customer service. They get the exact same quality. They get the exact same from beginning to end. It doesn't matter. It's the same experience time after time. Unfortunately, in a lot of people's businesses, it could be a good day, it could be a bad day, it could be a different day, and people start going, well, yeah, they kind of did it, but I don't know what that was. And it really kind of turns people off if they're not getting that same consistent experience. And if you think about it, you probably have times in businesses that you've shopped that you ran into the same thing. So when you're thinking about McDonald's, I want you to think about that consistency and those processes and ask yourself, can anyone jump into your business? Can they just jump in and take over? Do you have everything in place that if you were to, heaven forbid, something happened to you and you had to call your buddy up and say, hey, I need you to go run my business, could they pick up your processes, your operations menu, your checklist? Could your business be on such autopilot that anybody could pick it up and just run with it? Do you have it that no matter who you hire off of the streets, that they're able to jump into their new position and be trained properly and be ready to accomplish and do the job and execute the job the way you would expect them to do it? And then for most people, the answer is going to be no. And that's what you really want to get your business to. Because if you think about McDonald's is hiring what, for the most part, majority of their employees are kids having their first job. And one of the things that Ray Kroc realized with McDonald's is in order to be able to pull this off, he had to have employees that would be able to pick up and just jump right into the business and the business not miss a beat. In most cases, you go into a McDonald's and you don't always know if that kid's been there for a month or they've been there for 6 months or they've been there for a year. All you know is in about 6 more months, it's going to be a different kid there or a different employee there, because they do also have a high turnover. And that's where you have to set your business, not so much for the high turnover, but that you want to set your business up that no matter what skill level someone comes in at, it is everybody's basic starting point is in the same exact place. And that's one of the things he did really well, is he created a baseline that every single person, and you can call it the lowest denominator or whatever the case may be, but everybody would come in and there's a great starting point for every single person, no matter who came in. Now, you'll hear when you read the book, so you won't hear unless you say it out loud, but you're going to hear him talk about or see him talk about the franchise prototype. And I don't want you to get hung up when you're reading the book on that whole franchise prototype. Once again, it's not about you trying to create a franchise. It's about you creating a business that is systematized in such a way that if you wanted to have multiple crews, or you wanted to have multiple stores, or you just wanted to have you and yourself, or just you and one other person, that somebody, the prototype that you're really looking for is that somebody could pick it up tomorrow and take over. Okay. And we want to create a business that you personally don't have to be the technician in every single day, that you could hire someone off the street and they can replace you tomorrow because you've got it so systematized they could just pick up where you've left off. That's really what you want to start thinking about. Okay. Matter of fact, if you think about McDonald's, one of the things that they do is they have a hamburger university. And it's true. You may have heard the joke. They go to hamburger school. When someone becomes a manager of Home Depot, when they become a manager of McDonald's or they buy a franchise, they have to go to hamburger university and they have to learn all the processes and expectations of what a McDonald's is supposed to have. And I think back when I bought my Baskin-Robbins, guess what? I had to do 4 weeks of training at Scooper School. They called it something else. I forget what they called it. But basically, I used to joke around calling it Scooper School. And the very first week, guess what I did? For the first week, all I did is scoop ice cream. I scooped ice cream and learned how to make everything the exact way it was supposed to be made. So this way, when I got back to my store, I knew exactly the expectations to set it up to teach all of my crew exactly how they were supposed to make everything, because it was all about consistency. If you think about Baskin-Robbins, they've been around for 80 years. They expect that no matter what store somebody goes into, they're going to have the exact same experience. And that's what Baskin-Robbins is set up to do. And that, you guess what? The people today are having the exact same experience that their parents and their grandparents had because of that consistency. And that's the same thing that you're trying to do in your business. And if you think about this whole franchise prototype and what you're trying to build, and we add it to the 3 hats that he talks about in the book that you're always wearing, whether it's the entrepreneur hat, the manager hat, or the technician hat, you all have a role within this. The entrepreneur is seeing the vision of the business model. They're really focused on that business and what the business they're building and where it's going. The manager is the one who's really wearing the hat, coming out with the processes and ensuring that those processes are created and that they get accomplished. And yet the technician still has the ability to do what it is that they love. They just have guidelines in which they are to do it, so that way they can continue to enjoy what it is that they do. And hopefully you've kind of gotten some idea of this section of the book, once again, the eMyth Revisited, and really start looking at your business differently. I don't want you to, and what's interesting is that you hear me talk about all the time, what pain point do you solve? What pain point do you solve? Start from there. What is the pain point you want this business to solve? You just happen to do whatever it is that you do. So if you're providing entertainment, you need to come up with what it is that you are trying to accomplish with those people. If you're running a landscaping business, it's not that you run a landscaping business, and it's not that there's a pain point that you're trying to solve. Maybe it's to give people these beautiful, amazing backyards. And then you say, okay, how do I build this business that does this consistently from yard to yard to yard? It doesn't matter what the business you have. This is what you want to look at, is how can you provide something that is so systematized that whether you're running it or you have to have somebody else pick it up or you go to sell it, it's going to be the exact same way. And if it's you or multiple employees, they all would come in and have clear expectations of what it is that they are supposed to do. So I want you to start thinking manager hat. That's what we're putting on for the next couple of episodes, because we really want to focus on how do we systematize our business. And by the way, by systematizing your business, this is where you save money, because you don't have people running around doing things 50 different ways. You don't have lost time. Time is money. So you're not losing time for people trying to figure things out. By having things systematized, your mistakes go down. Therefore, your costs of repairs, your cost of waste all go down. Believe it or not, it's the systems is where you are going to create the money, the profits. This is where you're going to see a big boost in your profits. That's McDonald's the average McDonald's does like $2 million or something like that. And they make nice, healthy profits at the end of the day because of that systematizing that they do. And that's very difficult to do when you have a lot of kids and a rotating door full of different employees. So whether you have multiple units or you're just yourself, like I said, remember, this is not about this. This is about you creating a business that takes less time for you to be in it, and it allows you to run more efficiently. So if you're being a solopreneur and you're working 70, 80 hours, by putting these processes in place, you're going to find you're able to pull that back to 40, 50 hours a week, and you get your life back. So it's worth it just for that alone. And don't forget, if you haven't gotten your eMyth revisited and you want to do that, there is a quick link in the show notes for you to do it. Yes, it's an affiliate link. It doesn't cost you any money, but it's like $11, folks. It's a paperback for $11 on Amazon. Go ahead and get it. Like I said, you don't need to read it all the way through. If you do, read it the first time all the way through, but mainly I'm just telling you, read a chapter, half a chapter, 15, 20 minutes a day. Take the time to digest it. Put it on your reading list for every single year, because you're going to get something different out of it. I'm reading through it again, and I'm getting different stuff out of it than I have in the past, than I have read it as well. And I think that if you just really start changing the way you look at your business, you're going to find you're going to run a much better business. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this episode, and next episode is going to be a good one. It's one of my favorite chapters. You might recall the last episode I said was one of my chapters if you did read anything else. The second one is going to be the next chapter, because I think it's really going to help shine some light on the concept that you always hear people saying, working on your business versus in your business. Yep, that came from this book, but we're going to dive into that and what that actually means versus just some saying that people always say, because ultimately what you do is you don't want to constantly be living your life, letting the business run your life. We're going to work on the other way around, to where the business helps you, not so much you give up everything to run the business. So we'll dive into that on the next episode. So definitely you're going to want to listen to that one as well. So if you are new to the show, make sure you hit subscribe so you never miss an episode. And with that, I'm going to really stop talking now, because I really mean it, and I will talk to you on the next episode. Bye for now. Hey, before you go, if you're looking to learn more about your business numbers, then check out the Know Your Business Numbers course, where we take a deeper dive into the key numbers, the calculations, the reports that will help you take your business to the next level. My mission is to help everyone love their business numbers. Yes, even including those of you that hate math. So much profit is hidden inside of your business numbers, and I want you to create some awesome profits. So check out the link in the show notes, or head on over to the knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. Once again, knowyourbusinessnumberscourse.com. Come join me. Let's go ahead and work on building your profits.